Greetings, viewers. This is King H from Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia. Welcome to my platform. This is a Pan-African platform. Please like, share, and subscribe. There's this article that I came across, and I want to talk about this article because it has to do with Ghana in a way, Africa in general, and LGBTQ. As you know, the LGBTQ community that was started in somewhere in Ghana was shut down. And after it was shut down, the president of Ghana stated that, under his 4 years as that he has left as president in Ghana, the rights of LGBT will not be, you know, will not be legalized. So March 31st, Africans. Remember this day, March 31st. It's an international transgender day. March 31st is the transgender and non-binary people around the world. So this is something that started in 2019 by individual somewhere in Michigan created International Day, and now is seen all across the world, Europe, United States, and they're definitely pushing in Africa. They're not gonna stop. They're pushing to make sure that LGBTQ will be accepted all around the world. But there are certain countries that I think, mainly Arab, that I think that shit will not fly in their country. But in Africa, they're pushing for that stuff because, they have now an International Transgender Day, March 31st. And with transgender visibility and politics, media, sports, March 31st, LGBT wants allies and advocates to show up and support. So they're using politics, media, sports to advocate, to make their presence felt in the world. So the importance of transgender representation illustrate importance of transgender representation worldwide. They want to be represented in media, prime time, broadcasting, streaming originals. They want to push their agenda across the world. They have an international day around the world, and they're pushing for that idea. And then you have the president of Ghana shutting down, an LGBT community in Ghana. And there's a lot of pressure coming from, the international, like the organization of the LGBTQ, especially with the international day that they have, to represent themselves. And the LGBT community is a very powerful community. And Africa and Africans have to recognize and realize that they must be prepared for a long battle, a very long fight, a very long war, because the LGBT community is doing everything possible to push their agenda across Africa. And I think they have seen that one of the most soft spot to push their agenda in Africa, especially West Africa, is Ghana, because there are certain people that they are using to push that agenda. and it's not going to stop. But as you know, the president of Ghana said that under his 4 years that he has left as president in Ghana, um, he will not legalize LGBTQ. And as a matter of fact, I believe um, President Biden has already started putting sanctions against Ghana, which is not going to stop. It's going to continue, you know, which is why Africa has to get herself ready to be financially dependent. Because so long as Africa is not financially dependent on Africa itself, so long as Africa depends financially from international community, this is where they're gonna get our asses. Because sanctions are coming in Ghana and it's not gonna stop. And on top of that, you have black celebrities who are urging Ghana's president to work with LGBTQ community leader after they shut down the actors like black celebrities like Idris Elba, supermodel Naomi Campbell. They are pushing for LGBT community in Ghana, not only in Ghana, but in Africa, especially West Africa and Central Africa. I don't think they even have the power to touch Northern Africa yet, but they're pushing for it in West Africa. They already have it in Southern Africa with South Africa, where LGBT and homosexuality is legalized. You know, they already got that part, and now it's they just need somebody who is powerful enough to push it across the rest of Southern Africa, which that's a whole different topic. But the fact is this: the LGBT community in the world has an international day. Let me ask you something, Africans or black people. Do we have an international day? African people have been enslaved, colonized. Do we have an international day? I don't think we have a global international black day. But guess what? The LGBTQ community that started how many years ago, they have an international day. And they are using this international day to pressurize and push down the agenda across Africa, starting in countries like Ghana and other countries. And let me tell you something, West Africans, you guys have to be careful, West Africans, because the moment the LGBT community successfully establishes itself in Ghana, it's gonna have the solid root to spread all across West Africa. So this is the time for Africans, especially West Africans, countries like Benin, Burkina Faso, Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Ivory Coast, you name it, Nigeria, and Nigeria is flirting with a thin line when it comes to LGBT because there's certain people in Nigeria that are pushing for ideas like that, and they're already practicing the LGBTQ, way of doing things. Even they even illustrate that sometimes in their movies, which means they have a certain room to navigate in order to push their agenda. And with the International Day that they have, they'll be pushing for LGBTQ agenda across the United States, across Europe, and guess what? Pushing it across the United States, pushing across Europe, or they will push it, suppressing it, trying to push it down on Africa, especially West Africa, because they're concentrating on Ghana. So, African people, what are you going to do when there's a lot of pressure coming down with the international data they have, with the superpower country like United States being backed up with the UK, France, Germany, those because they're allies. They're like brothers and sisters. So they always defend themselves and push agendas that interest them. But the key is that Africa doesn't African leaders do not have an agenda for Africa in a way, which is why they are always being bombarded with agenda from the West or agenda from the East. There is somewhat a balance in superpower, or almost balance in superpower, where you have United States, United Kingdom, France, Germany, and then on the other side you have Russia, China, and Iran. Those three superpowers are finding a way to restrict the superpower of the United States, to slow down the momentum of the United States, even though President Joe Biden said that, oh, United States is back. We are back in control. But that's not completely true. There's a little shift in power. United States is not as powerful as it used to be, where they could go ahead and bomb countries. Make countries like Iran, China, and Russia, when they're playing with them, they have to be careful because they don't want to overdo it. Because it could start a whole World War III where it will be catastrophic and it will affect the entire world. So they gotta be cautious. This is when, you know, African countries, with what is happening, with all the protests in Senegal, countries like Togo, countries like, and in the war in Cameroon, you know, Africa is unstable, which is good and it's not good. It's good because, with the bad leadership we have, we're trying to make sure that we have a right leadership. And we have to really fight for our rights. Because if we don't, then we'd either be accepting what the West is telling us to do or what the East is telling us to do. So we have to create our own power basis. And the only way to create a power basis is through regional powers, through the ECOWAS or West Africa, East Africa, Central. That is the way we must find a way to make things work. We have to create a superpower in Africa. And you can't create it just by saying, oh, you're making, one leadership under Africa. That's far fetched. We have to break the shit down. Or in the long run, because the West, when it comes to the LGBT, they ain't gonna stop. They're gonna push their agenda until they get it. The president of Ghana only says that within the 4 years that he is, there will LGBTQ would not be allowed to grow in Ghana. But when he's out, you don't know who's coming up. And the person that may be coming up may have to succumb to the West by allowing room for LGBTQ to grow in Ghana. And then what? That's when you start fighting. So Africa must prepare now and create, because Ghana is a big country, yes, but it's not big enough to sustain countries like the United States, countries like United Kingdom, France. It's not big enough to hold itself in countries like that. And if you think that you could only um, try to use the laws and stuff like that, oh, that necessarily won't work because You need Africa needs to create a power base. And Ghana is in the West African. Uh, this is one of the West African state. So why not work the youths to start shaking things up in West Africa? Or are you gonna wait for when LGBT is fully, you know, established in Africa before you start a fight? Africa must start thinking for the way forward with the imbalance of power or between the West and the East, or the constant fight of power between the West and the East. We must find a room to grow, or we'll be crushed, or, or continue to be used as slaves. It's, it's, it's not easy, but it's not difficult either. It just depends on how the mindset of the African youth and the future leaders of Africa understand the world politics. Because there's a war coming, whether Africans like it or not. There is a war coming. China is in Africa, and you starting to see some of the pressure with Chinese in Africa. That pressure will eventually crack, and each small nations in Africa and a few giant nations in Africa cannot contain the superpower nations. Only if when nations in West Africa, a nation in East Africa work as a team, a nation in all the other regions in Africa work as a team, whereby we will have an opportunity to have control over our matters. Because to tell the truth, the West doesn't give a damn about black humanity. They don't give a damn about African humanity. They give a damn about putting down their own agenda and making sure that it sticks. There's a power play going on. Do we have the power to fight back or to succumb to whoever is more powerful? This is King H. I'm out.